How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TableTakes. We are very excited to be back for another episode. We got some really cool headlines lined up for you. And as always, we like to get started by checking in with all of our lovely hosts to see what everybody's been up to for the last week. So, let's get started with you, Peter. What's been going on?
Well, this week was Valentine's Day, so my amazing, lovely wife said, "Hey, honey, how would you like to go to LA? And I'll treat you to dinner. We'll go to LA for Valentine's Day." Like, okay, great. Well, we're gonna go down Tuesday, come back Thursday. Oh, by the way, I'll be attending a trade show during the day.
Of course.
Oh, so my tricksy precious wife. Yeah, yeah. We had a nice.
Good. I'm glad you had fun. What was the weather like down there compared to Seattle?
Nice and warm, you know.
Mm,
It was LA weather.
yep.
Beautiful, gorgeous, perfect.
I kind of assumed, but I just like to hear it, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be going down to LA soon, so I'm happy to hear that as well.
Yeah.
But enough about you and me. Bonsai, what's been going on with you this week? How was your event?
My little human turned did a one full rotation around the sun, was able to survive a whole year.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Yay!
So that's what it ended up because his birthday is on the 13th, so we don't really have much planned for Valentine's because it was all focused on the birthday. Big 1 year old birthday. We gave him a giant cupcake and he inhaled it. That's pretty much all I had to report. It was the introduction to a lot of sugar, and he said yes.
Hmm.
That was the answer to that.
I
But it
can
was still
relate.
nice. Ooh.
Well, what'd you
Um,
do for Valentine's Day?
oh, we ended up doing steak and lobster, surf and turf,
Nice.
and stuff like that. So that's been good, and of course going for our walks. I just wish it was a little bit more sunny. But you can't pick and choose. It's actually very warm for February as it is, and also hey, for those in Brazil, happy Carnival.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Bonsai.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, Noir, let's head on to you. What's up?
I haven't been doing too much. I got a new game. Let's toss this guy around. The
Ooh, a
Arkham
classic.
Hard
Oh,
card game.
Mm.
So I wanted something fun and fast to play, and so I got this, and no one's played with me yet.
I hope it does end up being fast. I've never played a game of Arkham Horror Card Game where it didn't last at least an hour. So
It says it's 45 minutes per player.
okay. Oh,
Oh,
um,
per player.
Noir, I hate to break it to you. If you're looking for a short, quick, easy game, you might want to try a different version.
I just realized it said per player.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll take a trip over to Chicago and we'll crack that bad boy open for you.
Yeah.
nothing
And I
wrong
hope
with a
you're,
nice long board game. Come on, guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
you, Javion? What
Well, I
have
was
you
gonna
been up
say,
to?
Noir, I hope your
Oh,
Valentine's Day was excellent as well.
Oh, just slept.
Okay.
What did
Okay.
Anita do?
I should probably ask
Oh
at
my
some
gosh.
point.
Oh man. I'm happy that all of you guys are spending your Valentine's Day doing the things that you love. Um, I was working on Valentine's Day. I went into work and I'm representing for all of the single homies out there. Me, Marcus, and a bunch of other folks who work on this show. We all work hard to make sure the show is as good as it can be. But that's all I've been doing basically all week. I'm pretty tired. I'm also sad that like the warm wave that we've been having in this winter season is looks like it's over and we're back to normal scheduled frigid cold again. Um, but I'm sure it won't last too long because spring is just around the corner. That's why my thoughts are in LA at the moment. I'm also very excited for a very special Gen Con TV event that's happening soon. Playing Magic the Gathering with Peter. I'm brushing up on my skills, trying to make sure I'm updated on all the terminology, all the different keywords in Magic. There are a lot. I'm still making sure I know the difference between the graveyard and what happens when you sacrifice things. Where does it go? To the discard pile or not? It depends. So yeah, I'm still making sure I'm ready for that. So Peter, I'm keep your on your toes, okay?
I'm 20 years out of date, so you might be teaching me some of the. I mean, I know graveyard, unless it's changed. I mean, it could have changed. Who knows, right?
Well, without further ado, let's get right into our headlines for today. We have a lot of WotC news, so let's get started with the first headline. Bonsai, take it away.
Okay, well, now that we're in February, like I said last week, WotC is or not WotC, sorry, Dungeons and Dragons is officially 50 years old, big 50. Not old enough though to get the senior citizen discount. That's in 5 more years. But thank you to what is it called? To there's lots of articles for this. Michael Gavis from D&D Beyond, Milton Grepp from ICV2, and Charlie Hall of Polygon, along with Alex Meehan from Dicebreakers for bringing all of these details because we had to go to multiple sources because they're doing a lot for the 50th anniversary. Some of the things that they have announced their publishing schedule for this year includes a new campaign, Vecna, Eve of Ruin, in May, then the making of the original Dungeons and Dragons, circa 1970 to 1977, in June, followed by this release of 6 classic adventures as Quest from the Infinite Staircase in July. So the update is also Player's Handbook is coming out in September, with the DMG, the Dungeon Master Guide, in November. But the new Monster Manual is only scheduled to be released in February 2025. So that one is going to be on the 50th anniversary. The most exciting news, if you guys they haven't of course released much detail. Javion touched upon this last week, which is the upcoming merch that they're going to be having, an official D&D Lego set that they've mentioned, or like basically we've mentioned before. They've also announced some official Converse shoes and clothes and some special treats from Pop-Tarts. So I kind of wanted to pick your brain with all of this coming in. What would a D&D flavored Pop-Tart be? Anyone want to try it?
Preferably something not sour, or just keep it along the lines of what a pastry is supposed to taste like. And Noir, I want to warn you before you try to say anything that you are in fact still muted.
I have my finger on the trigger. Key lime pie gelatinous cube Pop Tart flavor.
Would it be gooey in the center though? Yeah, of course, yeah, it would be. But it would be good if it's sour a little bit because it burns a little bit like a gelatinous cube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It'd be really sticky. Yeah. I'm gonna go for something gross and go demonic ichor.
Ooh, okay, that makes sense. Actually, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I feel
demonic
like
ichor.
blackberry or
Yeah,
I was
something
thinking
like
black
that.
cherry myself. Yeah,
Black
that'd be
cherry.
good.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Bonza, I want to go back to something you said earlier. The updated Player's Handbook is coming out this September.
Yes.
That's
Updated
good.
Player's Handbook, which is, updated, but it really should be 6. I'm sorry, I had something in my throat for a second. Don't mind me.
Is it
It's
6th
just
edition
this.
or is it 5.5? I mean,
Gotcha. I think it's probably going to have a lot more of that Tasha's Cauldron stuff and actually wrap it in so that people can make their characters and not worry about all the fluff when it comes to half orcs and half elves and how come there's no half tiefling or half dwarf. So I'm excited to see all of that stuff getting put in one place, so I don't have to have my players buying several books in order to make the characters that they want to make.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I mean, they're like I said, they're. I mean, it is going to be in one book for now until they come out with the next book. But I mean, that's what you have to deal with updates unless we start coming into the digital book age where you just get the like a big tablet. Oh wait, no, that is a digital book. It's a tablet. Never mind, I answered my own question.
I just really hope that they really put their heads together about the paladin class. I really hope that they have long, deep thoughts about that class. Maybe turn back on some foolish decisions that may have been made in beta.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious if they're like reworking some of the classes and races and stuff too, or if they're gonna wait for one D&D's final, product stuff. Because I know a lot of Unearthed Arcana was talking about changes to classes, but who knows what they're actually going to like make official this year. So I'm excited to find
Yeah.
out.
I just don't know if I'm going to have to break my strain. I mean, historically, I only play the odd numbered editions. And so
Mm,
I got to admit, I'm kind of like, I have this pre-programmed, like, nope,
mm,
not going to do it. Not going to do it.
mm.
We'll see.
Got it.
That's just
Got
me
it.
being a grognard.
So second edition, that
Mm.
was just not it for you. You skipped that one.
No, I mean, with all deference to Zeb Cook and Steve Winter and all the guys, but I just, yeah, it just fell short of the mark, in my opinion.
Yeah, it regulates smites to bonus actions. I think we can all agree that that's just silly. That's
Mm,
just silly.
mm. Well, I guess we will wait and see how these all these different crossovers and new products play out, and if people really like them or not. They could definitely use a big boost considering all of the turmoil of last year. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go straight to our next headline. We got some Shadowrun news coming to us from Peter.
That's right. Thank you, Javion. This feature is brought to us by Jeffrey Dome Sanchez at IC version 2. Catalyst Game Labs revealed Shadowrun Falling Point, a new runner resource book for Shadow. For release for Shadowrun. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right. For release into retail on March 6, 2024. The new book profiles 10 people and organizations on the edge, sending the sixth world into a slow motion collapse. Some of these entities could be pushed over the edge by specific events, or could be the ones doing the pushing. In any case, runners need to know about them before they accidentally trigger a world collapse by playing an unknowing role in their plans. This book is filled with background information on these canon entities, as well as what their significant role in shaping the sixth world might be. Catalyst Game Labs also released the previously announced Shadowrun Wildlife, a new creature source book, into retail within the last month. Wildlife features several creatures that can be used as challenges during Shadowruns. The book has dozens of creatures to choose from, listed by habitat and brought to life via full-color illustrations. It also contains plot hooks, training information, and other resources related to using creatures in Shadowrun 6th edition.
This looks really interesting. I still haven't gotten my foray into Shadowrun, but I'm excited to hear what you guys all think about this.
Ooh, I'm always very excited for Shadowrun, but I still iterate the point. I don't know why it is about Shadowrun. I always end up becoming a drug lord. I feel like that's the most consistent way to make money and not get killed is to become a drug lord in Shadowrun. And I don't know why. Sorry, it doesn't really have anything to do with it.
What's going on with you, buds? Every episode, I feel like we're uncovering a deeper mystery.
Yeah, it looks like the stakes are pretty intense in a book like this. That they're always trying to up the ante with all the new content. There's a lot of Shadowrun content.
There's
It's
so
been around a
much
long time.
content.
I got mad respect for Shadowrun.
Yeah.
It's one of those games that has stood the test of time and keeps being supported. There's a pretty short list of games that have been around for more than 20 years that keep getting new material, new additions, new love. So that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, and it looks like somebody in chat, Cranston said, I helped proof both of those books for the Shadowrun. Nice.
Oh, we got a celebrity in
Wow.
chat. Okay, well, feel free to fill us in on some of the details. We don't have a lot from the article here, but I'm sure with the price point being at $49.99, they're definitely going to have to fill it with lots of information, lots of supplementary stuff for character creation, or just building up adventures around it like they always do.
Mhm.
All right, well, let's roll into our next headline here. This headline in particular may be of some interest to all of us here because it's all about a board game centered around streamers. This article comes to us from Jeffrey Dome Sanchez of ICV2. It's a board game called Battle for Subscribers. Everyone plays as influencers who are trying to gain followers by doing things like viral dances blindfolded or doing a speed run, which I'm worried about what that actually means in real life versus like playing it on a board game. Hopefully, there are some images still to come that will tell us whether or not we're actually going to be standing up and using our feet or if we're going to be rolling dice and moving pieces around a board. I guess we'll have to wait and see. This game is in development by Flat River Group, who you might remember from games like King of Tokyo or like Potion Explosion. But you may not have heard of Maestro Media unless you are a fan of the Binding of Isaac Kickstarter that was highly successful from their private company, or maybe even Sugar Heist. If you check out their website, maestromedia.com, you can learn a bunch more. I found out, this is a fun fact, their CEO and founder, their name is actually Javon Frazier, which is one letter away from my name. I'm very curious to see how that name is actually pronounced. I just thought that was really funny. Um, Also, this game is in development in coordination with an actual streamer, a gamer who has a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel where they usually play FPS games, but they play a variety of other stuff too. So I'm definitely expecting to see a lot of different genre of game in the Battle for Subscribers board game. We'll see. Their name is Dr. Lupo. You can find them on YouTube as Dr. Lupo. Um, it's also in development by Jeb Havens and Bobby West. Apparently, the goal of the game is trying to gain 20 million followers. That's how you know you've made it. So, guys, I don't know, Marcus, do you want to check for us really fast? Have we made it yet? How close are we to that goal? About halfway?
No, don't check, please.
Okay,
No.
don't check. Don't
Let's
look.
not
Don't
mention
look.
it. Yeah. I
The game
do
is
think this game, Jamie, and I think streaming the game, I mean, there's an irony there too, right?
Oh, right. Yes. Of course.
Well, I will say like the credentials that they have is Dr. Lupo. I've met that streamer in person. He's a really
Oh,
all around like nice guy and he has a very healthy community. So whatever they're like stating on this is probably like a legit good source in terms of community members and how they stream. But yeah, no,
okay.
I want to see what they're gonna do and whether or not like because there's been several like video games and adaptations of how to become a streamer, and also they have Barbie dolls of how to be that I'm not even lying, streamer Barbie dolls. So it is interesting, these various different board games coming out. I just wonder how they're gonna handle it and whether like I'm guessing it's going to be good, but there are people that take a bad approach to this, like and making fun of the career
Mm.
as a choice versus
Right.
something that is like a legitimate source if you know the hustle and can do it right. It's a lot of work.
Right. No, I see exactly what you're saying, Bonsai. I'm sure there's room for levity as well as respect. Don't worry. We all know that you are a world famous streamer, Bonsai, and we would never ever want to disparage the hard work you put in for us. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Oh god.
Okay, so let's roll into our next headline here. This one is a little bit more Watsy news, or at least tangentially, because it's all about Hasbro. Noir, why don't you take it away?
Hasbro loses $1.06 billion in quarter four. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Oh my gosh,
Nah,
that sounds
shout
awful.
out shout out to Milton of ICV2 for the headline. Hasbro reported a 1.6 billion loss for quarter four, despite a positive contributions from its Wizards of the Coast and digital gaming segment. Both of Hasbro's other segments, consumer products and entertainment, showed big losses. Entertainment showed a 1.11 billion loss as Hasbro completed its sales of E1 assets, taking a loss and writing down the entertainment it kept. Consumer products, including toys and non-Hasbro games, lost $126 million. Wizards of the Coast and Digital Gaming showed a $103 million profit for the quarter, down about $1 million from quarter four 2022. I just like to mention that if I had any of the amounts I've said in my bank account, my life would be changed irrevocably.
Mm.
Company-wide sales took a big hit, down 23% to $1.29 billion from 0.68 billion in Q4 2022. Like, really, I wouldn't have to worry about anything. Entertainment was down 49%, and consumer products was down 25%. Wizards of the Coast and digital gaming was up 7%, driven by digital games, Baldur's Gate 3 and Monopoly Go. I refuse to believe Monopoly Go made any money. Tabletop gaming sales in the segment were near flat,
You'd be
down
wrong.
I know fundamentally that I am wrong, but I can't willingly exist in a world where Monopoly Go is making a lot of money. I just refuse. Baldur's Gate 3 and Monopoly Go tabletop gaming sales in the segment were near flat, down around $1 million to $266 million. And finally, sales of Magic the Gathering, which include Wizards of the Coast digital game sales from the brand, were down about 2% from to $258 million, from 263 million in Q4 2022. So, yeah, we've got some insight into how Wizards is doing this quarter. Any thoughts from you guys? Honestly, just reading that much money made me sad.
Well, I think it really didn't underscore. I mean, the big loss was them writing down the investment in E1, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what, I mean, other parts of the business were up or down a little bit here and there. And, especially the WotC business was good, but, and Monopoly Go, yeah. But, when you write off a billion, how much, $1.11 billion from E1, that acquisition not working out like they anticipated. That's tough. But in those situations, you just got to take the loss and move on. You're just like, okay, this is the loss, this is what it is. Report. It seems like the fundamentals of the business are still solid.
I think fundamentally and physically I could take that loss. I don't know if moving on is an option.
So I want to go back to Monopoly Go though. Is it like Pokemon Go? I know nothing about this game. Do you like walk around and find like properties on the street or something? I mean,
you know what? I absolutely refuse to find those answers.
I think it is okay. So I only know about it because my family, I don't play it, but my family has their love. Oh, you do? Okay. So you can explain what the Monopoly Go is.
The game consists of you hitting one button, and that's basically the entire game. Sometimes they put a little mini game in where they pretend like you have any control over what's going on. But for the most part, you're just like hit the button, roll the dice, see what happens.
So it's a lot like the board game then.
Yeah, exactly. And you can mess with your friends and steal money from them and visit their Monopoly boards because you have different boards.
Do you walk around like in Pokemon Go? Do you walk around town?
No, you could just sit in bed and play it and visit people from the comfort of your pillow.
If well, maybe that's why you only have one button, Javion. You're just sitting in bed. Maybe you walked around, take your laptop, carry it around downtown, see what you can find.
It's a mobile. You only have to do, but I feel like with that, what is it called? It's just like Cookie Clicker in a sense. People who like there is a market for games where you just want to watch the numbers go up and then add people to make the numbers go up even faster, which is fine.
Exactly. Or spend money. You could spend real life money. That's another way.
Those are like slots.
Oh
yeah, yeah, basically. I mean, it's a little bit more flat. No, actually, it's not as flashy. Yeah, it's slots. It's just slots. You're playing slots.
Okay, I can understand that.
This whole segment has been very upsetting to me.
I'm trying to look at
why we're doing it.
I'm trying to see what the big
You're just doing it to upset Noir. No, but I feel like
I'm looking at it and Noir, you said a lot of numbers there, and I'm a little confused as to, like, is this overall generally bad? Do we have to worry about Hasbro going under? Or is D&D in trouble? Or like what?
So from what I gather from this article, it's that things look a little tight for Hasbro, but they're able to tank it. Like like just like Peter called out, they took a hit with the E1 entertainment section, but they were able to just write it off. So it's just, even if they get put in a pickle, I think I think Dungeons and Dragons prints money at this point. Like, I
Okay,
think they're
fair
gonna
enough.
be fine.
From how it was explained to me, because I'm not a financial whiz, I have a partner who's very, very smart and can explain this knowledge to me, and it goes in one ear and slightly gets retained. But so from my understanding is that it is the potentiality of $1 billion that they sold for a certain price. And they said all of these IPs have a potentiality of $1 billion, but it's not actual real money. It's like, hey, look, I have this idea. It is worth this much to other people, but I'm going to sell it for you to this price. So overall, Hasbro is actually, if you adjust it correctly with how financial, like, I don't want to go through the whole spiel because I only retain parts of it myself, is that they only just lost to about 50 million and still have a net profit of the year of 480 million.
That's
So
baller.
yeah, so they still are working in the millions. Remember, folks, like when you get to these prices, not to drop, there is a billionaire who lost a lot of money and still with that loss of money would have been the richest man of that year. If that puts people in perspective, not going to name any names, but if you remember the articles that came out about that, it's all about potential offering and potential money, because ultimately how our money system works is like it's not necessarily anything physical. It's like bargaining for something like, hey, I have this idea and I know that this idea will appeal to 1 million people, and if those 1 million people pay me $1, that's what they're going to buy it for. So it's the potentiality of what it is worth and what you're getting in terms of sales. I don't know if I explained that as well as
You
I
explained
could.
that great.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yay. I hope
Valentine.
I did.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so happy we have you around. You are our resident industry expert now. So while we're all talking along the lines of Hasbro, um, why don't you tell us more about what Hasbro's plans are for the future, while the rest of us stare at Noir's Cat Watson. Please continue.
Okay, well, thank you so much to Chase Carter. Oh wait, hold on. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Sorry. I think I posted the wrong link.
It's okay, take your time.
Sorry. I posted the wrong link. So Hasbro discusses plans of D&D video games, The Universe Beyond. This is from J.R. Zambrano of Bell Lost Souls and also Chase Carter of Dicebreakers. So on Tuesday, Hasbro had their quarter 4 earnings, like we just rolled right in, with the for the future of the D&D brand. With this massive success of Baldur's Gate 3, Hasbro has massively been scaling up their D&D video game platform versus their physical copies of like books and such and cards. They plan to have 1 to 2 major video game releases per year between 2026 and 2030. I'm going to go ahead and take a break with this subject, for especially from being a video game consumer myself. I don't know about their estimate profits of one or like churning out 1 to 2 major new video games and how the quality of that would be, because the making of really, really good video games, I feel like a lot of times unhealthily, us as gamers want a new release of a new video game every year. We need something new updated, a new expansion. Unfortunately, that is not good for the video game culture itself. This is just something I'm just kind of like taking as, I don't know how much of you all are gamers, but it is something to be note that yes, Baldur's Gate 3 was successful in many ways, but that was a game that took many years to develop. And saying that they're going to try to put something like that every 1 to 2 of those every year between 4 years is a very big chunk for people to say. And I don't know. I'm just a little skeptic. How are you all feeling about that?
Well, it seems like, yeah, I agree. If it's the same video game player buying each of the games, but if they're able to, if video games are designed in such a way to go after slightly different markets, like really deep strategy games versus sort of like, I don't know, the D&D equivalent of like a first-person shooter action game, then maybe there's more room on the market. But yeah, I think it makes sense, Bonsai, what you're saying. You do have to be careful about how many games you come out with in a segment.
Yeah, it just feels like it's a very quantity for this, but I don't know what it is going to produce. Maybe they have a lot of things that they have major like expansions to story brands and such like that. Maybe they are taking things to like different worlds they're going to add on. I just want to just put a like my own personal opinion, put a word of caution to this tale, just because I also fear for a lot of the developers and the creators of these games being pushed to this kind of time frame and quality of life kind of thing. But that's just me on my opinion on that. Another like just to expand on the word, another noteworthy message is that they wanted to expand the universes beyond concept from Magic the Gathering D&D. After, of course, the success of Lord of the Rings set for Magic this year, it looks like they want to go ahead and start getting more official D&D mixed in with the Magic the Gathering cards. It was alternatively suggested that they might do more work with our major content creators or generated, like user generated content when it comes to making and developing these magic cards. For me, I don't know if the sales of the Lord of the Rings was artificially kind of boosted because of course, the One Ring. Everyone was trying to get the One Ring. So I don't know if their predictions are going to match. I'm sorry to sound like Debbie Downer here, but I'm just very skeptical about some of these. I don't know. Maybe you all can have a different take. I don't want to just seem like I'm harping, but I'm just trying to be a realistic consumer.
I see what you're trying to say, Bonsai. I mean, for one thing, I think, yeah, the One Ring definitely skewed some of the results. But on the other hand, it's just really a symptom of their good decisions of deciding to go for some crossovers, bringing in people from outside of Magic the Gathering back into it, even though they already have like a huge audience already. So I think that was pretty smart. And I think that well, I don't even know how to feel. I don't even know if it's ironic or just unfortunate that they weren't making all the games that they wanted to. They had to cancel a bunch of video games for D&D. And then Baldur's Gate 3 did so well. Not to mention Hasbro did make money off of Baldur's Gate 3 because of the licensing stuff. You know, they're probably now going to pay much more attention to it. I'm still waiting on, I mean, I know this is kind of off topic, but I'm still waiting on much more news about D&D movies and like role-playing game movies and like spin-offs for like board games and tabletop and stuff like that, because that's what I'm most interested in. I really didn't get a lot of playtime out of Baldur's Gate, although I did get started with it. Something about the fact that I'm involved with the video game and I don't know, dealing with the minutia of people's problems in video game format just seems so much different than playing with other people over the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to just see with these what is going to be churned out.
Noah, what were you about to say?
I was just thinking like if I'm D&D, I'm using the same engine, I'm using the same assets as Baldur's Gate. And then if it comes down to content, well, I mean, you've got all of these notorious adventures already. Like I can see, the Strahd expansion for Baldur's Gate 3, that being a slam dunk easy expansion. Spelljammer just came out. Having a Spelljammer expansion for Baldur's Gate. Like, I feel like you're doing two things when if this is the path that they're going, which I mean, everybody and their mama at this point has Baldur's Gate 3, so I think that's
Or at
like
least heard
easy.
of it.
Yeah, I think that's an easy through line. Um, because one, if you are creating yearly content for the game, and you're basically borrowing from your adventures. It's a commercial for all of your adventures. It's just like, hey, if you like playing this in the game, pick up the setting, pick up the adventure, and play it at the table. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way they would go about it. I think that would be a smart way to do it. I mean, I think one of the things that we should consider is that Baldur's Gate is as hot as it is right now, and you can only get to level 12. Like
Right,
I
yeah.
think we ignore that a lot. And that's just so much more content that there's gonna be for it. It's just gonna be fantastic. But
So much potential.
yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. All of this is reminding me, Bonsai, we need to set up that Minecraft D&D server ASAP. We really got to play that Minecraft expansion before I don't know, before the boom or the bubble burst or whatever people say in the industry, Um, but let's go ahead and move on to our next article here. We're not done with WotC yet. We got some crossover info about Magic the Gathering coming to us from Peter.
Yes, that's right. You're talking about crossovers for D&D. Well, there's crossovers for Magic the Gathering. So this feature is brought to us by Chase Carter of Dicebreaker. Thank you, Chase. So Magic the Gathering players should prepare for even more full-size crossover releases, a la last year's Tales of Middle-earth. Hasbro CEO Chris Cox told investors on February 13th that 2 of the trading card game's 6 annual premier sets will be dedicated Universes Beyond crossovers starting in 2025. While 2024 will seemingly be a year of restructuring and reappraisal for the massive toy company, it laid off 1,100 employees just before Christmas, including hits to Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons teams. Cox was confident that 2025 will replicate last year's bumper revenue crop by doubling down on crossovers. This may end up pushing out or replacing a tentpole set that is a business-only term the company uses for its 6 annual major releases to make room for whatever comes after Final Fantasy and several Marvel-themed releases, and the Innistrad remastered supplemental set, which is what we know about the upcoming releases for Magic the Gathering in 2025 and 2026. Universes Beyond is Magic the Gathering's imprint, focused on trucking outside intellectual properties and other media franchises into the popular trading card game. What started with fun reprints sold via Secret Lair has ballooned to pre-constructed commander decks featuring Warhammer and Fallout and complete premier sets that rival their 5 other core releases each year. The TCG has hosted Jurassic Park, Street Fighter, Doctor Who, My Little Pony, Godzilla, and The Walking Dead. And while internal design has attempted to keep the more outlandish deals away from the main game, we're seeing that resolve slip in recent years. Crossover sets have also become a massive revenue stream for Wizards of the Coast. Cox confirmed that Tales of Middle-earth earned $200 million in under 6 months and has become the best-selling MTG set in the TCG's long history. This is a high water mark amongst an already successful year where 5 of the 6 premier sets earned over $100 million each. We believe, this is a quote from Chris Cox again, we believe the brands that will be shipping in 2025 have the same carrying power as Lord of the Rings. Cox told investors on a recent earnings call, we think we'll have a similar uplift as we did for Lord of the Rings, and that's underlying a lot of our bullishness for the growth of Magic. So I'm also thinking about Bonsai's comments about how the search for the One Ring was a huge, probably, it's got a lot of media coverage. I assume that was a big drive. I don't know. I'm having trouble with the idea that Final Fantasy is going to compare with Lord of the Rings and the One Ring. I don't know. I mean, unless they're going to include some weird chase card again that, I mean, what could there be that's as compelling as the One Ring? I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, maybe Marvel releases have done well, but it seems like Marvel's been done so much, It's just Marvel this, Marvel that. I don't know.
Well, Peter, the One Ring was probably the big thing about Lord of the Rings. So now I'm like my mind is going to like, okay, we got Marvel, we got Fortnite coming. What are the rarest things there? What about probably like the Infinity Gauntlet, right?
Yeah,
For sure.
Fitting Gauntlet. Being able to like collect. It'd be I'm just thinking of Yu-Gi-Oh! I gotta collect so I can get the Pharaoh. The ultimate Pharaoh.
And I looked it up. In
Yes.
Fortnite, the rarest skins are the Aerial Assault Trooper and the Renegade Rider. I mean, the Fortnite community is huge. Let's not underestimate them.
Yes.
I love that like just imagine you make a multi-billion-dollar company and the highest sales you get are from a crossover from a different IP. Like that, like imagine what you're doing, like sitting in the boardroom and like looking at these numbers and you're just like, man, I guess we got to do more crossovers.
I mean, I was being critical of the comparison to Middle Earth, but I think fundamentally the idea of crossovers is fine, right? I mean, like it's kind of like, especially, it certainly fits Hasbro's history of licensing in things like Star Wars and various intellectual properties to exploit them into action figures and so forth. So this kind of fits the Hasbro model, and only in this case, instead of like licensing in a property and making it into action figures, you're licensing in a property and putting on a platform that you control, which is Magic the Gathering, where you don't control action figures. Anybody can make an action figure. So I don't know, it's kind of interesting. But I do hope that they'll continue to invest in their own stories, Dominaria, the world of Magic the Gathering as it was originally conceived. Right.
Yeah.
It's a fun
Yeah.
fantasy place,
Well, it's hard to like you stated earlier, or not. This is just something from my point of view. It's hard to like state and do your own new content when you've already let go of a lot of the people who did create that in the first place. December. But that's just me. That's my own personal opinion. It's hard to really scale that. But yeah, no, I'm sure there's like some good news though.
Yeah, let's talk about some good news. How about we check in with the folks from overseas and see what they're up to? This article comes to us from Matt Jarvis of Dicebreaker, and it's all about the Dicebreaker industry event, the Tabletop Creators Summit, which just so happens to be happening on the same weekend as the MCM Comic Con in London on May 24th, which also just so happens to be my birthday. So if anybody's looking to find, not sure what to get me for my birthday this year. Plane ticket to London? I'll take care of the rest because the Tabletop Creators Summit comes with a free Friday badge to Comic-Con, the MCM Comic-Con over there in London. So if you sign up for this event, if you are an industry professional, if you're looking for more news about the industry like we give, or some advice on designing your game, maybe you want to learn more about game law, or you have a project that you want to pitch. Perhaps you're looking for more networking opportunities. The Tabletop Creators Summit from Dicebreaker has everything that you need in a convenient place. And in case that might be a little cherry on top, they have free tea and coffee for the whole event, as well as a break for lunch, because we know our gamers need to stay well fed in order for their brains to function at maximum capacity. We also have heard that there is the return of their unconference, which appears to be a series of short informal talks and sessions happening around the room. So it's kind of like the regular networking that they were going to be doing, but a little bit different. So you'll have to check it out to learn more about it. You can actually use the link right there in Twitch chat if you want to sign up right from the Dicebreaker article, which is pretty cool, that little sort of crossover that they're doing. It makes me wonder if Gen Con might do something similar someday, where we have like our blog posts also just like have like a whole form you could fill out to sign up for like events and stuff like that. I don't know. I just thought it was a cool idea. I'm not a board game designer myself. I mean, someday I definitely would like to, but I don't have any solid ideas in the works. But for all you folks that are traveling to London, or if you're just curious about what they're doing over there, if they're still up to any board game or tabletop stuff, you can check out the Tabletop Creators Summit and look forward to some cool projects coming out as a result. Now, let's roll right into our final headline here. Noir, what would you like to tell us about taverns today?
Oh yeah, there's a very special tavern that I'd like you all to join me at one day, and it's called the 20-Sided Tavern. Uh, or as the headline says, Ale and Wilmette, 20-Sided Tavern returns. All right, so let's get into it. Dungeons and Dragons first stage show mixes improv, adventuring, and Jackbox style audience participation. It really is cool. Well, I'm just for full transparency. I totally went. That's me in the picture. I went there. It was a good time. Um, so the way that this works is when you go there, everybody gets playbill like this. You open it up, and there's a wristband. It's either blue, green, or some other color. But each one represents the characters that you help them make on stage, and then when the GM asks the players to make a decision, there's an app that you can download on your phone to vote for what each character does. And as you can imagine, it is very hectic and chaotic and sometimes the audience and the characters don't get along, and it's great. Uh, Highly recommend checking it out. They did a limited run, I want to say last year, without being officially signed with D&D, but now they have the Wizards of the Coast license, so they don't have to say weird spell names that don't actually exist. Now they can say Fireball, which is what we're all after. So if you like theater like I do, and you like TTRPGs or the Tater Pig, I believe, as we recall
Yes, yes, exactly.
Tater
If
pigs.
you love theater and Tater Pigs, this is one that you don't want to miss. The 20-sided tavern. Go check it out.
Sounds like a blast.
It's
Sounds
so much
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
It seems like such fun. Oh, sorry.
Is there like tallies like displayed of how many people voted and everything?
Yeah.
Like, so there's like a display.
So,
And
it's very funny because it'll be like, do you want your character to stand safely on the other side of the door or charge in recklessly and
Oh.
stomp the door open? Uh,
charge in.
and you watch your character watch the votes go, and like every now and then they're like, I really truly do hate you.
That's awesome.
See, if you were smart, you would go in purposely playing a heel in that game and antagonizing the audience. I think that's what it'd be. I'd totally be a heel for the sake of making the audience choose the most destructive hand. Have to be a barbarian though, so I could
So,
soak up all those hits.
it's very funny that you mentioned that. It didn't happen at our showing, but we got to go and ask them questions afterwards. One of the questions that I asked was, have you guys ever had a TPK? And the answer was a resounding yes. So they just had to quickly make new characters and keep going with it. So yeah. You can get your party killed.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for our headlines this week, but don't go anywhere because it is now time for all to rise for, wait, the Zine Zone.
Welcome to Crowdfunder Court. Here come the judges. Prepare to be judged. All right, court is now in session.
That's right, guys. We're taking over court today because it's the Zine Zone. Zines are totally radical, tubular, and out of sight. And today we've got multiple awesome, did I already say tubular? Radical. I already said that one too. Zines that we are going to show you today. For those of you who don't know what zines are, they're sort of like little mini expansions to your favorite TTRPGs, or maybe they are just short form TTRPGs in themselves, where you can play them out of a little pamphlet. Except for this next one. This next one calls himself a zine, but really it's a little bit bigger than a zine. I think this one might be like a mega zine. I'm coining a new term, mega zine. It's called Meatheads. This is a Kickstarter that ends in a month. So you have a whole month to look forward to gathering information about the content. It's called Meatheads. It's all about a giant mega dungeon built for meatheads. It's an old school system and tools for you to play in basically any RPG system that you think would be cool or similar to the old school style of tabletop role-playing games. It draws a lot of inspiration from stuff like Chainmail from 1971, the original D&D, White Hack, Wolves Upon the Coast, and Troika. Peter is positively frothing at the mouth as I'm mentioning all of these, because he knows that these are all awesome, different supplements and points of inspiration that we draw from that we got the state of D&D or other RPGs, sorry, Tater Pigs, as they are today. Any fans of Conan the Barbarian, Masters of the Universe, or just bodybuilding and wrestling will feel right at home with all of the cool rooms and monsters and points of intrigue in this giant mega dungeon. There are over 250 rooms, each with their own unique style and flavor, but are all connected by a very cohesive and interactive gameplay mechanic. It's going to guide the referees to help gain useful skills for any game mastering. And it's more than just an adventure, it's a set of tools, tips, and thoughts, and overall, a love letter to running long form games. So, I believe this would probably be best played as one giant session where you play over lots of hours and have lots of breaks for, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you can manage it, that's definitely what I'm going to be doing because it's so affordable. If you want to get the digital PDF, it's only $20 to back it, or $45 if you want to get the physical book instead or as well. So definitely check it out before it runs out. But again, you have 28 days to check it out before before funding closes. So check it out now if that sounds cool to you. But you know what sounds cool to me? More zines. Let's hear about another cool zine from Noir.
Yeah, I got the zine right here for you. It's called Against the Gloom. Do you like tater pigs? Do you like face melting solos in pirates? Then I think I might just have the system for you. Welcome to the gloom. What if our heroes exchanged their battle axes for Stratocasters? And what if lyrics and harmony were actual magic? Against the Gloom is a fantasy TTRPG of melodic mayhem that asks this and more. It's about the joy and power of music, chosen family, and building community in the face of the void. That's right. This sweet D6 system is all about being a pirate and melting faces with music. I don't think I need to tell you anything more. I think that's enough for you to buy it. But if you need anything more, uh, their their goal of 1,000 was crushed, as they have raised $2,565,000. There's 72 backers and 27 days to go. So get in there, pirate. Grab your guitar, and rock. That's it. Stop
Totally
receiving me now.
bodacious, Brody.
Oh
How
God.
about you go?
What have
Let's
I
hear
done?
about another totally outrageous zine from Bonsai.
What's up, my man? Thank you so much. Yeah, I got this one really here. It's called Home Mech and Kaiju. So if you want to go ahead and build a mech and make an unknown or a map an unknown and fight kaiju and save your homeworld solo for basically it's solo to 4 players. It is a tater pig that combines the elements of map making, world building, along with mech building and some kaiju battling. So if you ever chose, like, you players, you get to choose a section of map that's based on and base their scenario around them. Then contribute to the map by adding settlements and where they must defend. Also starting and making preparations like adding railguns, fortifications onto the map. Think of like Pacific Rim, the Jaegers, when you build your mech. And then the kaiju, played by one of the other players, gets to attack the settlement that you just created, along attacking the Jaeger or the big mech that you just made. Once you defend your settlement, you're not done, because after that, the players have to work to push the kaiju back and eventually cross into the realm of basically annihilating the force. But yeah, no, it's really good. It's a sort of game if you're really into Pacific Rim, Godzilla mashup. Also, if you like the Quiet Year, but instead of a quiet year about surviving, you're just surviving mega monsters. So it's just something in my little heart. I like big robots punching big creatures, and it makes my heart glad. You know, It's like when I mow the grass, I just pretend I'm a giant creature and cities are being destroyed as I cut the grass. Anybody else does? Nobody else? Why are you looking at me like that? Nobody else imagines that they're destroying cities while they're cutting grass? No? Okay. But in any case, it ends on March 7th. There we go.
Well, that was mega mondo gnarly by Betty. Thanks, Bonsai. Let's hop on over to Peter's corner where we can hear about another totally radical zine.
I missed the memo about zines. I thought this was going to be crowdfunder court.
What a wasteoid!
I know. So,
What?
oh my god. What am I gonna do? Well, I'm gonna tell
Listen,
you
if you go to HR, I'll back you up. I heard that. I can't.
Where was this memo? Was it just embedded in? I don't know. It's probably on the Discord.
Somebody's
I
tripping.
missed it.
Barf
Well,
me out.
I am just gonna put on my blinders and charge forward and tell you about a crowdfunder for the Eve, and I would put it off, but it ends in 4 days, so it's got to be now or never. So this is on Kickstarter. It's called Eve: War for New Eden. It is a board game and miniatures adaptation of the iconic MMO Eve Online from Titan Forge Games. This campaign is only 4 days to go and has raised over $500,000. So for millennia, humanity thrived, expanding upon the confines of Earth, reaching out into the cosmos to colonize distant worlds. But in a cataclysmic event known as the Eve Gate collapse, humanity was severed from its home, leaving colonies in New Eden isolated and struggling for centuries. From the ashes of this dark age, 4 major empires emerged, locked in a delicate balance of power until espionage and political intrigue gradually escalated to a war, the War for New Eden. So you begin by choosing a faction. You start with limited territory, spaceships, and resources. Your goal is to grow your empire and acquire 10 victory points to get to the verge of ascendancy. Beware, as when you do, you will have to endure the ruthless final round to emerge victorious. You explore, navigate your vessels to unexplored systems, and claim the discovery rewards for charting new stars. Use your actions to perform things like move your fleets to new systems and claim them to extract resources, or research developments, or command fleets, strike from orbit, all sorts of stuff you can do. Each faction offers 8 different spaceships that distinguish their play styles. Ships vary in size, statistics, and special abilities, unlocked with developments. For exploration, use scouting vessels to earn better rewards. For conquest, send out agile strike teams, etc., etc. You get where this is going. Space, exploration, and conquest. I mean, that's just good, clean fun.
Man, that Kickstarter sounds epic and choice.
Way better than a zine.
Absolutely. Thanks for that psychedelic headline, Peter. But it's time to say adios, amoebas. Tune in next week for some more totally tubular zines from the Zine Zone. But to take us out, we're going to throw it on over to Peter.
All right, this concludes a spellbinding episode of TableTakes. Come back next week for Peter versus the Machine, where I will continue my game of Sid Meier's Civilization 6 as England at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Also on Monday, role-playing and cosplay on Dress to Quest at 6 p.m. Pacific. On Tuesday, it's Vampire the Masquerade with Indie by Night at 7 p.m. Pacific. On Wednesday, we have miniatures painting with Path of the Brush at 4 p.m., followed by Actoroki at 6 p.m., where I will be DMing Burning Wheel, set in the world of Chaldea. Thursday morning at 10 a.m., we have Blood on the Clock Tower. Then join us again at 5 p.m. for some Shadowrun with Roll with Rem Alternus. Then Friday, 2 p.m., we're back here for TableTakes and Crowdfunder Court. Right? Is it crowd? No, I don't know. We'll find out.
Thanks, the Zine Zone.
The Zine Zone. No, what? Okay, tell Steve we need to make a new video. All right, thank you to the Gen Con TV crew, Marcus Mays, Steve Connard, Sarah Moore, and Tanel Levitt. Thanks to my delightful co-hosts, Javion, Bonsai Baby, and the Noir Enigma. Thanks most of all to you for watching, hanging out with us in chat. Remember, follow Gen Con TV for more of the best 4 days in gaming all year long, right here on twitch.tv/GenConTV. And by follow, I mean, please click the follow button. That's the way you get notices. All right, that's it. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Waste away.
Neato.